Hey everybody, welcome to our special show. It's 3:15 a.m. Eastern, which makes it 12:15 a.m. in Oakland, and this is the 2025 NFL schedule release. And I am pleased to present it to you not here just at Zenny62 on YouTube, the vlog report with Zenny62, but also the our special NFL website. That's it. NFL News by Zenny62.com. NFL News by Zenny62.com. NFL News by Zenny62.com. All you have to do is type NFL News by Zennie62.com, like so. And voila, boom, there it is. But that's not what you want to hear about. You want to hear about the schedules, the matchups, all that, okay? So, you know what? Let's get right to it. Let's talk about who's playing who, what's going on, and who's saying what. And I can't think of any better place, to start with than really Twitter. And so we lean right into the conversation, get right into the bowels of what people are thinking about, and issue our own opinions, right? Saying, hey, look, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like that, we don't like this, and you get the idea, okay? You get the idea. Because everybody wants to know who is going to the Super Bowl. But in order to figure that out, you got to figure out who's playing whom, okay? So without any further ado, all right? Without any further ado, okay? And I'm saying without any further ado, all right? You got the NFL talking about what we've learned from the schedule release, all right, and the takeaways from it. And this is presented by none other than Judy Bautista, senior national columnist and all around great person. And so we're going to take a look at what Judy is saying first and go from there. So that's why it's really important to dig around and find out who's saying what in the NFL, get a feel for what the key people in the league are thinking through the eyes of NFL media, right? That's the idea. So uh, here's what Judy's written here, all right? 2025 NFL schedule, AFC East takeaways. Full list of games for the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots, all right? So let's dig in here, and all we have to do is open it, as we did, and scroll down. And what we find is basically that I'm going to get to the gist of what Judy is talking about here, okay? She's saying that basically, here, first of all, here's the Bills' schedule. I don't know if you can see this in my area, but I'll make sure that this opens up. Let me make sure that you are essentially seeing what I'm seeing, okay? Because this is cool, all right? This is a rather cool setup. Yes. All right. There's that one, and then there's this version. I think I'll take that one. Okay. So scroll down here, and first of all, she says that the 2025 NFL schedule has a 17 game lineup, but it's an 18-week slate. And she wants to know what the biggest takeaways are. And you have the option of navigating to your team. But first of all, we're just going to scroll down and see what the Bills are doing. They have a tilt. Week 1, Sunday Night Football. Yeah, they're hosting the Ravens. Week 2, they're at the Jets. Week 3, the Dolphins. Week 4, the Saints. Week 5, the Patriots. Week 6, the Falcons. They have a bye. But look, they are talking about the schedule for why this is hanging here like that, okay? they start out, the Bills do, looking right at the Ravens. Now, it's a great marquee matchup, but let's face it, it's not the kind of game that is going to hurt either team early on, but it will feel it down the stretch because they're both in the AFC, right? It's also a good test of the Ravens and if they really got their defense tightened up, because the last time they played the Bills, hey, look, the Bills got yardage on them. The Ravens should have won, but for a drop pass by a certain tight end you and I both know of, who normally plays great contests. I'm thinking of my friend Melissa, who Rubin, Baltimore Ravens super fan, who has gone to the games for many years and followed them on television and bars and everything. And I know she was just absolutely upset over that drop by the man who will not be mentioned here. Okay, so here is an opportunity for the Ravens to get revenge, because the Ravens feel like, hey, you know what? That game was ours. You know, that game we should have won. Okay, but then it's very easy for the Bills to look at the Ravens and then overlook the Jets. All right, and I think the key matchup, and you want me to pick the upset here? The Jets, the new look Jets under Aaron Glenn, beating the Bills week 2. Week 2. That's sticking right out there. And then they go right week 3 into Dolphins land on Thursday Night Football. This is a gauntlet. All right. If you can get through these, then hosting the Saints, and who knows how that's going to turn out, should be a piece of cake. All right. It really should. But then you've got the Falcons after that. So look, if you can split the Saints and the Falcons, you're doing well. Then you've got a bye week 7. Okay, you have a bye week 7, and so that puts you in a position where you're saying, okay, I've got this bye week 7, and I believe that if I just get through this and get the rest of week 7, I can head into the Panthers. That's going to be a win. Although the Panthers are a bit iffy because they're improving. And I'm really impressed with Dave Canales and his offensive style. The Chiefs, I believe you can pencil in the Chiefs to be in the playoffs. Will they be AFC champion is another story. I believe the Raiders will either win the AFC West or get a wild card. One of those two organizations will alternate. But nonetheless, the Chiefs are coming up. We have the Dolphins again, the Buccaneers, and when they finish, the Bills do at the Texans. And that may very well be a predictor game for who gets the division championship or wild card in their respective divisions, okay? That's going to be a game that you cannot slough off. Then we get even tougher. The Steelers, they go to the Steelers, and then they host the Bengals, the Patriots, the Browns, the Eagles, and then finish with the Jets. The Bills do. So this is a tough schedule. I mean, I see one cakewalk game, and that's the Saints. One. The other ones, because I think the Jets are going to be very good this year. I really do. Don't sleep on the Jets. I think Aaron Glenn is going to come in and do a boffo first-year coaching job, and a lot of people are going to say, well, gee, I didn't see that coming. All right. So, there you are. So let's go as we look at that, okay? Let's also then go to change. Those are the takeaways Judy's got. But let me go back here since we're talking about the Bills. And let's go click on the East, right? And and then try to get into the head of, that's the Bills. But then let's go to the Dolphins, because I think the Dolphins, if they can get their speed issues underway, in other words, they're losing Tyreek Hill, bringing in some other fast guys, but to me, they haven't really completely solve the equation of developing a super fast offense. I'm not saying they haven't done it, and the resume proves it, but I think they're a couple of play designs away from being there entirely. In other words, they're still easier to stop than one would think. At any rate, let's take a tight look here at we've got with this the Dolphins schedule. We've got the Colts, Patriots, and Bills. Ooh, look at that. They open up at the Colts, which on paper they should win, but of course, if Daniel Jones comes in, beats out Anthony Richardson, gets hot, they're in the right offense, another story. Week 2, the Patriots. That I think Vrabel's crew defensively is going to be much better. I'm not sold on Drake May. Okay, I have not been. Um, but let's go look at the positives for him going into the season. A new offense under Josh McDaniels, so you don't know what they're going to be throwing at you. Josh McDaniel is very familiar with his opponents, including Mike Vrabel, and what they might do under Vrabel, talking about the Patriots. So, I'm sorry, Vrabel is his coach. But what I'm trying to say is that Josh McDaniel is very familiar with what the Bills might do on defense, with personnel and with how Sean McDermott thinks and everything else. So that's going to be that Bills Patriots matchup is going to be tough. It really is. Then we've got Week 4 Jets, another tough game because again I believe the Jets are really going to be tough. Then Panthers, Week 5 we've got Panthers, and I think the Panthers are up and coming. Then they have the Chargers, Week 6. And the Chargers, I'm not high on the Chargers this year. I believe it's not so much the players away, but I believe that their approach with Greg Roman has sort of seen better days, and it's like they sort of ran out of bullets. Um, at the Browns, could be interesting. And by Week 7, Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback. They got their passing game down. The wild card for the Browns really is less their offense and their defense. I know people are obsessed with offense, but the Browns need to tighten up their defense if they're going to dream of a Super Bowl. And they may have done it. We'll see. I do believe they're going to be better in general on defense. The Falcons, I think the Falcons are going to be one of the teams to beat in the NFC this year. And they come to Atlanta, talking about the schedule for the Dolphins. That's going to be a shootout, but the Falcons will prevail. Ravens, Thursday Night Football. I see the Ravens winning that one. Talked about the Bills. Commanders in Madrid. Travel, that's hard to see. But if I'm a betting man, I'll take the Commanders over the Dolphins. By Week 12, Saints are a cakewalk. I'm not feeling Mr. Moore. I'm willing to change my view. I think that the Saints ought to have Jameis Winston at quarterback myself. After Steelers on Monday Night Football, yeah, who's going to quarterback the Steelers? That can wind up being a cakewalk for the Dolphins. Then we have Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Bengals are going to produce a great, solid team this year. That's going to be a nice battle. The Buccaneers, I can see the Buccaneers beating the Dolphins solidly, and we're back at the Patriots. Okay? So there we go. That's the Dolphins schedule. And I think going through, we have the Dolphins and the research notes. Okay, we have the Patriots. I already talked about the Patriots in the context of the other teams. Biggest takeaways there. All right, they call it the Vrabel Bowl in Tennessee, whatever. All right, and then we have the Jets in this schedule with Steelers. And when you go through this, I'm going to pick out. I'm just going to go and I'm going to name where I think the Jets are going to do really, really well. Okay, first of all, the Jets Steelers. I think the Jets could eke out a win against the Steelers Week 1 at home. Bills, it's a toss-up. Buccaneers, another toss-up. At the Dolphins, I think that they will prevail over the Dolphins. Cowboys, New look Cowboys, hard to see that one, but I'm going to give it to the Cowboys. Well, no. I will give it to the Jets. Yeah, I'll give it to the Jets. Broncos in London. Another toss-up with the travel. Panthers at home. Take the Jets. At Bengals. I take the Bengals. Bye. Browns at home. That one, with the Browns at home, I really believe that I think they're going to beat the Browns, but not by much. Patriots, Thursday Night Football. Toss up Ravens. I think the Ravens win that one. Falcons. I think the Falcons win that one. Dolphins. Toss up at the Jaguars. I think basically I think the Jaguars are. I can't say the Jaguars beat the Jets. So guess what? I'm going to say the Jets beat the Jaguars. Boom. Then they go to the Saints. Cakewalk. I have no faith the Saints are going to be good this year. I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm not seeing it. Okay? I'm not seeing it. Now, Judy says the biggest takeaways is a much lower key campaign. The Fields-Rogers revenge game is a measuring stick. An awful lot has changed. Okay. NFL research note, the Jets opened the season with 3 straight games against playoff teams from the 2024 campaign, but they faced 5 consecutive squads that missed the postseason in weeks 13 through 17. Interesting. All right. So next, what do we have next here? First of all, and I was trying to get this out on, I want to get this out on social media. Excuse me while I tweet this out, right? Little blazing saddles action there. And so, folks, I'm going to make this part 1, and I'm going to do a part 2 tomorrow. And leading up to the weekend, and I've got a show planned that's, I call it preliminarily our NFL show, just like that. And yeah, that's the name of it, our NFL show. I kind of like that title, our NFL show. All right. But okay. Here we go with what's on that. And hold on a second. I am putting this on Twitter, but I'm trying to get rid of that. Got it. Okay. And that. Got it. Okay. All right. And we are in the Jar Jar, words of Jar Jar Binks, we so ready, right? Okay. Got all the feed stuff. What I don't understand or know is where is the add to your post, schedule your post. Maybe I don't want to do that. Interesting. Maybe we're supposed to create that post. I'm trying to create this post, but folks, it's not letting me. Oh, why am I having these problems today? This one's not letting me post it, so I have to try it all over again. Okay. That hurls. So let me do it again here. Wait, hold on a second. Boy. I have. I'm gonna have to turn this around. I had this situated so that it was right. See, I look at it and now it's situated the wrong way. All right, so let's see here. If I put this, I'm adding me to the stage, but what I'm doing, hi everybody, is I'm changing the photo because the photo is not coming out the way that I want. It's backward this way, okay? And so, but I have a remedy for that. delete this one, right? And we add in the new photo, which is this one, which is rotated. So that save background, right? And no, it's not presenting me what I, let me see if it comes out. Nope, it still comes out the other way. Okay, that comes out the other way. Rats. Let me get rid of this one. And then this one. See, without the rotation. And that should work. Okay, so this comes out that way, rotate it, and this one comes out what way? There we go. Okay, see, folks? There we go. All right. See, what was going on is I had the reverse one. I thought I had the reverse one such a way that the right way up appeared here, but it was the reverse. So I fixed it. Sometimes you have to do things in mid-course, folks. Okay. So far, what I see is a window for the Jets to be the AFC East power. I believe the Dolphins are predictable offensively and weak defensively. We'll see about that, though. The Patriots, you've got a new offense they're installing, new coach. So what they do in the first 6 to 8 weeks will be critical. If they come out with a new offense and it looks like they're going to run the table, let's see what happens after week 6. If the teams build a book on the Pats and they don't have a defense to really clamp down on the offenses, then the rest of the season will be a long one for the Pats. It's an unknown because you have a new coach, you have a new again to the league, it's been a while, but still familiar with the league offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels. That's a great big asset there coming home. And he's eager to prove that his first outing with Tom Brady wasn't a fluke, right? So that's going to be really interesting to watch. But I cannot get off the idea that the Jets, I can't get off the idea that the Jets are the team. I can't. Now, information being a funny thing, will something happen that causes me to, change my mind? Of course. We'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. So I'm just making some adjustments. Oh, so what you're watching this? I haven't heard you all say anything. Is one person watching, one or two? I know it's late, but who do you think out there among the teams I've gone over thus far is the one that will really make the difference? Which team is the one that you're looking at? You tell me. I'd like to know. Inquiring minds want to know, right? What say you about that? And so what? Nothing? Okay. Let's see here. Where are we going here? It's 3:39. We've been on for 21 minutes. I think I'll go for another to the bottom half of the hour and call it. But since we're focused on the AFC East, and I'm not done making my comments with them, I will finish. And I believe that the AFC East has an intriguing team that doesn't quite know how good it can be. Okay? And that really is in terms of their opponents, that is the Dolphins. The Dolphins are one of these teams that when you look at them, you think, okay, flashy offense, good defense, what's wrong? And I believe in terms of detail, the Dolphins' main problem, all right, is that once the Dolphins get into a set of plays for the season, it's very easy to figure out what they're doing play-wise and who they're trying to take advantage of and everything else. In other words, they're predictable. Okay, they're predictable, and I think that's a major issue. Yeah, that's a major issue. They've got to really work on the predictability problem moving forward. I think the ability to zero in on what they do is something that rears its head toward mid-season, and you start really looking down and you figure out, hey, look, they've got only a handful of plays, maybe offensively 15, and once you get your clamps on those 15, that's it. Once you figure out when they're going to be executed, that's it. They don't have a flexible comeback. They're in that case, from that way, rather disappointing, I think. And I think Mike McDaniel could do a lot better at being unpredictable. He is. It's not a matter of being creative. It is a matter of being innovative and efficient with the ball. And I think with his attention to the speed game, his ability to produce that efficient performance has reared its head well on a number of occasions. But you hear about them with these huge wins, right? But then next thing you know, they peter out toward the end of the season and nothing happens. Big nothing burger. So this is a year where Mike McDaniel has to prove it, I think, or else. I think this is a hot seat year for him, knowing Mr. Ross as I do, owner of the Dolphins. I think this is a year where he has to say, okay, you know what? I know that Mr. Ross is getting impatient. He's getting older. He wants a Super Bowl. I get it. So guess what? I'm going to pull all of my genius into coming up with something the league hasn't seen before, and I'm going to make the Dolphins like the Warriors or something like that, Golden State Warriors, where we had this fast break offense, which I thought he was headed to initially, but again, it goes back to the plays. Once you've mastered on defense that handful of plays that he designs, he's got nothing else. And he's not like Bill Walsh, where he has this fundamental approach that's so different that it's giving the league fits. His simple approach was, hey, look, I need guys who, so I can say my guys are faster than your guys. That's it. And there's a lot to be said for that approach. It is very effective, but there's a lot to be said for the fact that a lot of NFL teams have defensive backs who say, you know what, I can beat that guy. I'm faster than that guy. I can tackle too. So I don't think McDaniel can hang his hat on that approach of, well, I'm faster than you, and believe that's going to get him through the day. I think he's really going to have to produce a solid performing team that is consistent on offense and defense, but in an innovative way, because that's what it takes to overcome the tremendous speed of defenses today. These defenders are superhuman. Okay, these guys are superhuman. All right, and no question about it. No question about it. So I am going to now. It is 3:45. I went 15 minutes past when I said I was going to stop, but I love talking about this, so I'm going to wrap it up and ask you to take it and give me feedback too, and share it around. I don't know why YouTube is such that my videos are not getting the views that they normally get, but something to me fishy is going on. And I don't think I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm wrong. Okay. All right, everybody. Subscribe to the vlog report with Zenny62 or Zenny62 the vlog report. Yeah. And then bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, you guys are watching. What do you think about this? Tell me, do you think the Jets win these? I'm gonna send this to Carrillo. All right, I'll see you guys.